and welcome to your Vinyasa Flow practice. I'm Laura and we are going to start our practice today in Shavasana. So in your own time, find your way onto the mat, lay back gently, legs nice and long, tucking the shoulder blades underneath the chest, arms by your sides, palms up. Just making sure you're releasing any tension in the neck, letting the feet fall to the sides, releasing any tension in the glutes, in the legs. And we're going to take a few moments here to arrive in our practice today. Slowing down your breath, and conscious of your breath as your inhales fill your body and your exhales root you to the earth. Deepening your inhale and lengthening your exhale. And take this time here to maybe set an intention for your practice today. Maybe to love yourself so you can love others. Maybe to be kinder to yourself so you can be kinder to others. Whatever you choose today, keep that with you through your practice. You and send them away. I'm going to start to bring a little movement back into the body now, rubbing the thumb against the fingertips, wiggling our toes, and rocking head side to side, and then arms over the head as we take a big inhale and enjoy a nice big morning stretch. On your exhale, bringing the arms back to the side of the body, bending into the knees and bringing the knees into the chest for a hug. And a little rock side to side. You may choose to open your eyes now, keeping a nice soft gaze, or you may choose to keep the eyes closed. Now taking some space between the knees, we're going to circle the knees round. Exhale as the knees come into the body, inhale as the knees go away from the body. And the other way around. Hugging the knees, little rock, And then taking the right leg straight, right hand onto the left knee, left arm out to a half T as we take that left leg across the body for a supine twist. Eyes gazing over the left shoulder and trying to keep that left shoulder down on the floor. And breathing into that sensation you're feeling with that twist. And coming back through center, bringing the right knee in, hugging the knees in together before taking the left leg straight. Left hand taking hold of the right knee, right arm out to the side as we bring the knee over to the left. Gazing over the right shoulder, keeping the right shoulder in contact with the floor. Again, breathing into the sensation you're feeling with this twist. And coming back through center, and bringing the knees into the chest. This time taking the hands underneath, so we can now take a little rock forward and back, or if you prefer, just find your own way to come to a comfortable seat. Staying where you are, I will just turn so you can see me. We're going to take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out, hands through heart center. Deep breath in. And this time as you exhale, take a twist, lifting up on an inhale and twist on the exhale. Back through center on an inhale. And exhale, twist to the other side. Another inhale to lift and twist on the exhale. Back through center on an inhale. Taking the left arm down, reaching up on the right and leaning over. Feeling that nice space in the right side body. Breathe into the side body to make more space. And next inhale, coming up through center. And the same on the other side, lifting up and over. Twisting the chest to the sky, opening the heart. And again, feeling that space in the left side body, and as each breath enters the body, feeling that space opening. Coming back through center on an inhale, and exhale, hands through heart center. And we're now going to find our way to tabletop. So, knees underneath the hips, feet behind the knees, so directly behind the knees, and making sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders. So we are stacking our joints, pushing through the whole hand. So we are working through the knuckles, through the whole fingers. We're going to take a little rock forward and back, just very gently on the forward, just protecting the wrists. Exhale and coming back. Coming to center, we're going to take some cat-cows. So on our inhale, we open the front body, lifting the chin and lengthening as we lift the tailbone. And exhale as we lift up and open up the space in the back. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Couple more rounds in your own time. And coming to a nice sensible place in the center. We're going to take that rock forward and back again. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, coming back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. On the next forward, tucking the toes under and coming back to sit onto the heels. As we just take some time here to take some wrist circles, warming up the wrists a little, and also stretching out the bottom of our feet. Also pulling the fingers back on the right side, and then taking them under. The same on the other side, and under. We're going to put hands down, just coming up now, untucking the toes, coming all the way up onto the knees. We're going to take a deep breath in, hands either on the lower back or lacing the fingers together. We inhale, opening the chest to the sky. And release, rolling the shoulders. I'm going to go again. Option this time to come back onto the heels with the hands. I will talk you into that. So deep breath in as we open the chest and lift up high. Option to release the hands and take one hand back to find the heel and the other, and then push the pelvis forward, lifting the chest to the sky, keeping the neck supported, supporting the head. Nice deep breaths here, feeling this back bend, feeling this nice opening in the chest. And we're going to take the right hand away first and then push the left so we can come back up to where we were. A few more circles in the shoulders. And we're going to take one more round. Lacing the hands behind you or placing them on the lower back, whichever you prefer. Taking a deep breath in. Coming back, releasing the fingers, this time taking the other hand down first. Both hands down, pushing the pelvis forward, opening the front body, feeling that nice back bend, supporting the head with the neck. Nice deep breaths. This time taking the left hand away first, pushing with the right to come up, rolling into the shoulders, and bringing the hands back down to the floor in our tabletop. We're going to take a couple more cat-cows. So opening the front body and exhale as we pull back, feeling where we just worked. Into center, rocking forward and back, in on the way forward, exhale, coming back. Next time we come back, toes tucked, coming all the way to our downward facing dog. Now taking time here, pedaling through the legs, lifting the tailbone high, lower abdominals in and up, and turning the inner elbows towards the top of the mat, width in the upper back, and relaxing the neck and head. bringing that to a position of stillness, and just taking a moment here. We're going to inhale as we lift up onto the toes, and exhale coming down. Inhale up, and exhale down, and again. Down on your legs. Inhale coming up. We are now going to walk the feet to the hands at the top of the mat. Now taking a fold, big generous bend into the knees, laying the torso onto the thighs, and just taking some time here, relaxing the head down, just to allow your spine to decompress. Nice deep breaths. I'm going to slowly curl all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders and head coming up last. And taking a moment here into Tadasana. So feet hip width apart. Shoulders back and down, width in the upper back. Space around the neck, palms forward, and pulling the abdominals in and up, lifting through the crown, and pushing down, rooting into the earth through all four corners of your feet. Taking a deep breath in all the way up, and exhale, arms out all the way down into our forward fold. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, lifting and lengthening, and exhale, fold. Root and rise. And exhale, fold. Halfway lift. And fold. Taking the opposite elbow into the hands, we're going to take a moment here in ragdoll. So maybe a little sway side to side. Take some time maybe to nod the head, shake the head no. Maybe to sway the arms slightly forward and back. Again, working to decompress the spine more than we are focusing on straightening the legs. It's allowing gravity and the weight of our head and our arms to give us space in the spine. So do whatever organic movement you need to here to allow that to happen. Keeping the breath nice and deep. Then releasing the hands, slowly curling up. Take a moment in Tadasana. Then root and rise. And swan dive down. Halfway lift on an inhale, fold on an exhale, and we're going to plant the hands and step back right and left back to our downward facing dog, pedaling through the legs. Bringing that to a position of stillness, we are going to take a gentle vinyasa together, bending into the knees, bringing them down to the mat. We are then going to lower the body very gently down to the mat. We're going to inhale here, a baby cobra, and exhale. We're going to stay here and do that one more time. Inhale coming up, maybe a little higher. And exhale, coming down. Tucking the toes, pushing through the hands, coming up onto the knees, and then all the way back into your downward facing dog. Maybe paddle through the legs. And then taking that to a nice position of stillness, We're going to take an inhale, taking the right leg high, and step through the hands into our lunge, placing the back knee down, untucking the toes, and inhaling as we come up for our low crescent lunge. Now, nice and strong through both legs, all four corners of the front foot supporting you, stacking the knee over the ankle, pushing through the top of the back foot if you have untucked your toes, making that space in the upper back, space around the neck. We're going to take a big inhale and exhale as we twist towards the right leg, the front leg. Hands windmilled back around to the front of the mat. We're going to pull back, pushing the heel forward, and take half splits. Now you may want to use some blocks here, just to bring the earth closer to you, obviously on whatever setting you prefer. A good option there to use those. Just make sure that your knee and your toes are pointing directly to the ceiling, that your pelvis is nice and square, and that you're just being mindful of that knee joint. Maybe a little tiny micro bend just to protect that joint so we're not hyperextending. We're going to take a big inhale here, lengthening and lifting the body, and exhale as we fold. Nice deep breaths here. Bending into that front knee, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee from the floor. We're going to inhale and come up into our high lunge. Just taking a moment here, strong through both feet, front knee over the ankle, shoulders back and down, pulling in at the lower abdominals. On your next inhale, lifting up high, and exhale, cactus. And again. And windmilling the hands down, and planting the left hand, lifting the right for a twist to the right. Lifting up through the shoulders. Try and make sure the pelvis is nice and square. And bringing the hand down, stepping that right foot back. Coming forward into your high plank. Coming down halfway chaturanga, up into your up dog, rolling back over the feet for your downward facing dog. Maybe just take a moment pedaling through the legs here. Bringing that to stillness, and on your next inhale, taking the left leg high. Big step through, keeping that back knee down, maybe untucking the toes, whichever you prefer, and on inhale, coming up. Feel the strong position here first, pushing through the front foot, all four corners, using that back foot to stabilize you. Pelvis nice and square, so maybe pulling back on the left hip crease, shoulders back and down, space in the upper back, lifting the crown high, abdominals in and up. We're going to take an inhale and exhale as we twist, palms forward, turning towards the left leg. Making sure that left hip crease is still in line with the right. Coming back through center. And bring the hands down. And then pulling back. Pushing the heel forward for your half splits. Again, using the blocks if you wish to. Mindful of keeping that knee and the toes pointing to the sky. Nice deep breaths here. Relax the jaw. Relax your brows. And breathing through the sensation that you're feeling. We're going to take a halfway lift here, lifting and lengthening, and then exhale, fold. Bringing that weight forward, bending the front knee, planting the hands down. We're going to tuck the toes and lift the back knee. And on your next inhale, coming up to high lunge. Time here, again, squaring the pelvis, pulling the left hip crease back, space in the upper back. Nice strong posture, strong through the back leg. Knee over the ankle at the front, and we're going to take some cactus. The big inhale and exhale for that back bend. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last inhale, and bringing the hands down, placing the right hand down, and left arm comes up and high for a twist. Keeping that left hip crease back and lifting the right hip crease. Lifting through the shoulders. And placing that hand down, stepping that left leg all the way back to our downward facing dog. And then option to take a vinyasa. Bringing the weight forward, knees down if you prefer. Exhale. And inhale, coming up for your back bend, and exhale, coming back to your downward facing dog. Take a moment to pedal through the legs here. And then taking the feet mat width apart. Maybe bring them a little closer to the hands. Lifting in the tailbone. We're going to take a deep breath in, and on our exhale, taking our right hand to the left ankle. If shin is more suitable for you, then placing the hand wherever works for you, and then twisting underneath the left armpit. Trying to keep the pelvis nice and square, so maybe lifting on the right hip. Just adjusting the right hip over to the right a little. Coming back through center on an inhale. And then exhale as we do the same on the other side. Left hand coming to the ankle, the shin, wherever works for you. And then shifting the hips a couple of inches to the left. Looking underneath the right armpit. Deep breaths here. On your next inhale, taking the hand forward, we're going to walk the feet back in. And walk the hands all the way back to meet our feet for our fold. Taking a deep breath in. Hands through heart center, all the way down, and fold. Halfway lift. And fold, root and rise, hands through heart center, big nose, dive down, halfway lift, and fold. Taking a moment here, feet hip width apart. We're going to take hold of our big toes with our peace fingers, so wrapping the peace fingers around the big toes, and we're going to take a moment here in our forward fold using the elbows, bending the elbows out to the side just to help bring the torso onto the thighs. And if you can, straighten the legs a little more. Taking some time here. Relax the head down again, little shake of the head, little nod of the head. And then gently releasing one hand and then the other, and then slowly coming up. Palms turned forward, taking a moment into Tadasana. To rise, big inhale and exhale, fold. Walking the hands forward into your high plank. Option now to take a vinyasa, knees down if you prefer. And take a moment here. On your next inhale, taking the right leg high. And exhale, stepping through the hands. We're going to place the left foot down at 45 degrees. Keeping the pelvis square to the top of the mat, so pulling back the right hip crease. We're going to inhale and come up into our warrior one. Making sure that the knee is stacked over the ankle on the front leg. Taking a moment here. On your next exhale, taking the arms around behind you, linking the fingers together. Inhale, opening the chest high, and exhale as we lean over into our humble warrior. Lifting up through the shoulders, try not to let this all sink down, and also make sure you're not hyperextending in the shoulder joints. Keeping the pelvis nice and square. Popping hands back down onto the body, coming back up, inhale high, and straightening that front leg. We are going to pivot forward and over into our pyramid pose. Again, you may wish to use props here just to bring the earth closer. Pull that right hip crease back, straighten the pelvis to the top of the mat. Just mindful of that front knee joint, maybe a tiny micro bend there to protect it. And just take a moment here. Again, breathe and be aware of any thoughts that pop into the mind that you need to send away, allowing you to focus on your breath and the sensation. Relaxing any areas of tension in the body. Now bending into the front knee, we're going to take the hands forward just in front of the right foot as we come up into our standing L. Toes and knee pointing to the floor, pelvis square, lifting through the hip on the right side. So try not to sink into the hip. And bending into both knees as we bring the feet in together and come up into our chair pose. So weight in the heels, should be able to wiggle all 10 toes. Take a big inhale here and exhale, fold. Halfway lift and fold, planting the hands down, stepping back right, and left, and option to take a vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, taking the left leg high and stepping through. This time placing the right foot down at 45 degrees, squaring the pelvis to the top of the mat. Inhale as we come up into our warrior one on the other side. Taking a moment here to feel the heat building. Bringing the arms around behind you on an exhale, linking the fingers, the other thumb on top. Inhale, opening the chest high, and exhale as we come forward into a humble warrior. Pushing the hands up to the sky, lifting. Bringing the weight of the arms onto the body, coming up on an inhale, arms all the way up, straightening the front leg, pivoting forwards and into your pyramid pose. Always option to bring the feet a little bit closer to each other, so shortening your stance in pyramid pose. And again, you may wish to use your blocks. Also be kind to yourself. Be aware that one side of the body can be quite different to the other. You may want blocks on one side and not the other, and that is perfectly normal. Squaring the pelvis, pulling back that left hip crease, mindful of that knee joint on the front, shoulders back and down, try and release any tension. Now bending into the front knee, placing the hands a little further forward, and we're going to come up into our standing L, lifting through the hips, softening the upper body down, and toes and knee on the back foot, on the back leg, pointing down to the ground. Bending into both knees as we bring the right foot to meet the left, and inhale coming up into our chair pose. Arms by the ears. Weight in the heel, should be able to wriggle all 10 toes. Another big inhale, and exhale, fold. Meet and rise, and exhale, fold. Halfway lift, and fold. Plant the hands, step back left and right. Option to take a vinyasa. A little softening into the knees if needed, and now walking your hands back to meet your feet. Slowly curling up, bending into the knees. Take a deep breath in, and bring the hands down through heart center. Take a step into the middle of your mat, and just take a moment here. Bringing the feet hip width apart, hands to heart center, shoulders back and down, width in the upper back, pulling in the lower abdominals, and rooting down through the feet. On your next inhale, on your next exhale, we're going to bring the right knee up, taking that foot off the floor for one-legged Tadasana. Placing the left hand onto the hip right hand down to find the toes of the right foot. So linking those peace fingers around the big toe again. Now option to stay here, or you may wish to take that leg straight and hold it here. Now balance is a tricky thing. Some days you'll find balance easier than others, so take yourself less seriously. And if you do have a challenge with balance today, be kind to yourself and just try again. Now, if you're finding this move difficult and you're wanting to ease it off, you can bring the knee back in, and for the next pose I'm going to develop into, you can have the option to twist here. Otherwise, if you are here with the leg straight, we're now going to take the left hand, holding onto the outside of the right foot as we take the right arm back, and then gradually take your gaze over with the arm if you can. Bringing the gaze back first, bending into the knee, back to one-legged Tadasana and placing the leg down. Take a deep breath in and exhale, fold. Take a moment here. Nice deep breaths. And slowly coming up, bend into the knees. Deep breath in. And hands through heart center, taking a moment here. So making sure we have that hip width apart in the feet. Giving our pelvis space. Abdominals in and up, shoulders back and down. Width in the upper back. Big inhale and exhale, bringing the left knee up towards the chest, right hand onto the hip, left hand meeting the toes, peace fingers around the toe, an option to stay here if you are happy here, or option to take the leg straight. Keeping the knee and the toes pointing to the sky. And as on the other side, option to release that hand and the foot and bend into the knee for the twist if you prefer. Otherwise, taking the right hand, taking the outside of the left foot, releasing the left hand, taking the left arm back, and gradually moving your gaze over to the left arm. Being mindful of your balance and being kind to yourself. Bringing the gaze back first, and then bringing the arm round, bending into the knee, taking hold of the big toe, releasing the right hand, back to our one-legged Tadasana, placing the foot down, taking a deep breath in, and exhale, fold. Taking a moment here. Reach and rise, big inhale, and fold. Halfway lift, and fold. Turn all the way up. Hands down through heart center. Taking a moment here. Big inhale. placing the hands down on the mat, stepping back, walking the hands a little further forward, and pushing back into your downward facing dog. Well done. Option to take one last vinyasa. Breathing here. And bending into the knees, popping them down onto the mat, untucking the toes, and finding your way down onto the mat. Arms out in front of you. We are going to gently lower down, one vertebrae at a time. Lowering the legs, taking a big inhale for that big good morning stretch again. And then exhale, bringing the knees into the chest for a hug. Now hug yourself here as you hug a loved one. Just acknowledging yourself for your practice today and for taking this time for yourself. And placing the feet onto the mat. Inhale as we take the right leg long. Exhale as we cross that leg over the left leg. We're going to push through the left heel as we lift the hips and move them to the right a couple of inches, and then take those knees over to the left, bringing the arms up to cactus. Trying to keep that right shoulder in contact with the floor. Gaze over the left shoulder if you choose. Engaging the abdominals and lifting the legs back through center, adjusting the hips to the middle of the mat, uncrossing the legs, taking the left leg straight and over the right, pushing through the right heel to lift the hips and move them a couple of inches to the left, dropping the knees to the right side and the gaze over to the left, keeping that left shoulder in contact with the floor. And engaging our abdominals as we gently bring those legs back through center. Adjust the hips, uncross the legs. Bring the knees in for one last hug. And then exhale, Shavasana. Legs long out in front of you. Back to where we started, full circle. And now taking the time to relax completely. Palms to the sky, feet falling out to the sides. Scan the body from top to toe for any tension you may be holding and release it now. Remind yourself of your intention today. And keep that with you. Taking one last big controlled breath together. Inhale. And exhale. Shavasana. We'll be here for a few minutes. I will talk you out of your Shavasana then. Start to bring a little movement back into the body now. Some movement in the fingers, maybe clenching your fists and releasing them. wiggling your toes, maybe moving the feet, rocking the head side to side. And when you're ready, gently bringing one knee then the other into the chest to give yourself a hug. Maybe a rock side to side. Then when you're ready, rolling onto one side or the other, whichever side feels right for you today, and taking your lower arm underneath the head as a pillow. Then in your own time, when you're ready, gently push yourself up and come to a comfortable seat. Taking a deep breath in. And hands down through heart center. The light in me acknowledges the light in you. Thank you for taking this time for yourself today. Namaste.